Hey everybody, Jay Weidner here, and this is Reality Check. Helped me get to 40,000. I'm working really hard, but certain factors just keep getting in the way, if you know what I mean. I got struck last week on the Catcher in the Rye episode. It never happened to me before, and it will not happen to me again. So anyway, today we're kind of jam-packed. Never really done one with this many people, but it's going to be fun. So we've got Matthew Bailey, of course, our AI expert who comes over every once in a while, every month and a half or so. We do another show with him because everything's happening so fast in AI. And we've got Captain Ron Janix and Brianna Matts, and they are going to discuss an upcoming event that's happening in June, which is the event of the year. Actually, it's the event of the last 3 years, really, because of what's been happening, and that's Contact in the Desert out there near Palm Springs in California. And everybody, if you want to really have a good time, I really suggest you all go out there because I'm going to be there. I know Matthew's going to be speaking. And Ron, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, Contact in the Desert, it's been running. This is the 9th year it's been running.
Yep.
So it's really, really exciting and it keeps growing. So, it's really a great hub for the community or anybody that's interested in this. You can bring people that you don't have to be deeply embedded in this material to learn about it. And it's a great place for speakers and attendees to interact and exchange, ideas. And what the current thing is, you mentioned AI, it changes every time I open up my browser. There's something new happening in AI. So we're going to have Mitch Randall there, and of course Matthew James Bailey will be there, and by then I'm sure there's new stuff. 3 weeks from now there'll be new developments.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I would also like to add that I think Contact in the Desert is a completely different event compared to all of the other UFO focused events out there. I think it's definitely community driven, more of an intimate setting. And I find that it's a place where people that, are like-minded end up making friendships and building pretty much their lives together. I can't tell you how many stories we've heard of people that make connections and, become best friends or like get married or, it's definitely a place for the community to interact with each other as well.
It is, and it's been a long time, really. And you had to go virtual and during the pandemic, and so it really wasn't the same. And the interaction, which is really the part I like, actually more than anything else, that is we've all been kind of trapped in our houses, and this is really a chance for us to finally get together again after a hiatus of way too long. And I've known Victoria, who started Contact in the Desert, for probably 30 years. She was my mentor. She used to run a bookstore in Pasadena, and I would go there and I'd ask her what books to get, and she'd give them to me, and not give them to me, I'd buy them. And they still have these books. They're life-changing books, and she wasn't really. She used the UFOs as her fulcrum to create the conference, but it wasn't really supposed to be just UFOs, which is why I like what you guys are doing now and really expanding out into other areas. And hopefully maybe one day you could even have people talking about alchemy. That would be fun. So
anything related to this, we like to have it, as many broad topics as possible. There is no specific focus. This year's theme is what's next. So we are kind of leaning into AI and that sort of thing because that does feel like what's next. And we try to keep a very scientific based thing too by bringing different scientists and keep it on that path as well. And that's kind of the vision for the future as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about this conference. I mean, really, we've got so much in artificial intelligence. It's remarkable. I'm doing a talk on the age of AI, consciousness and the future of life. And myself and Jason Martell are doing a whole 2 hours on ChatGPT, a deep dive into ChatGPT. I'm going to teach people how to use this with critical thinking. And if folks want to basically read about ChatGPT, then this is probably the book to read beforehand. It's a really good book. It's very easy to digest. We've got 2-hour education courses on how to basically learn about ethics for artificial intelligence and how to shepherd it for your communities. So it's very practical with the latest pioneering knowledge. We've got interactive panels where we're going to be talking about AI and what does it mean for discovery of extraterrestrial life? What does it mean for consciousness? What does it mean for contact, right? We've got so much going on in artificial intelligence, but unifying that theme around truth, consciousness, and discovery. And you know, the human species is about to leap into something that we just can't even understand yet. This new potential of creation, capabilities, knowledge, and truth. It's going to be remarkable. And so I think artificial intelligence is just for AI. It's going to be remarkable what we're going to be doing with so many different people talking about this and having a dialogue of what does it mean for us as a human species in the universe itself. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be great.
We talked to you the other day, Bree and I, and we were saying how just a year from now, how different the world will be. Because
yeah, well, Matthew came on Reality Check about 2 years ago, the first time, and he sounded a little bit like a whack job, and nobody thought that what he was saying was going to happen so fast, and I knew it was coming. And it's here, and it's really only been here for what, 4 months now or something like that, 5 months. And, and it's already altered everything. The thing is that people have to realize is a lot of our menial tasks are going to go away now. And, and that's a good thing. The human race is being freed up. Arthur C. Clarke said the ultimate goal of technology is mass unemployment. And that's where we're going with this. And so everybody's going to have AI doing most of their menial tasks, and creative people are going to take that and go with it like there's no tomorrow.
I'm sure you think of negative sides of this potential too, though, Jay. Of all people, I would think you could see the dark side of this. Not to go there, but I've already saw a story the other day how somebody disguised a kid's voice. They were able to replicate his voice and called his grandparents and said, "Send me $1,000."
Yep.
And they did. I mean, what about the potential for that stuff, Jay?
It's going to go crazy. We're going to have to create incredible safeguards to guard against it. They did that to Alex Jones. They called him yesterday with Tucker Carlson's voice and suckered him into a long conversation. And so you got to be really careful. So we're going to start talking in code, I think, like, my friends and I are going to have some kind of code that we say, right? So I know it's really them, just has to be anything like
till AI
X-Files or something, So they say X-Files and okay, that's really you. All right. Right.
So we may need that new language, but I'll be speaking about the dark and the light, the positive and the negative around artificial intelligence, and actually creating a new story, something that Foster Gamble and I are working on. And we're going to be making an announcement at Contact in the Desert around a new declaration of principles for AI ethics, for ethical AI that Foster's been working on. So we're going to actually be announcing a new foundation for humanity. I'm excited about our future. I think that AI will give us new creative capabilities. And Jay, you and I have spoken about that. Our brain is going to develop new creative capabilities as this digital buddy, which I'll be talking about, your personalized AI, becomes an assistant for us to leap into new potentials as an individual. And so we'll be doing a book signing on Inventing World 3.0, and I'll be speaking about this new world vision. And also we're going to be speaking about another book, if you want to go into it, Superintelligence. And this is basically, this is about the singularities. So we'll be speaking about the singularity and what does that mean? And we'll be talking about the cult of transhumanism and basically that idiocracy, and then we'll be revealing literally the sovereignty of the organic in the age of superintelligence. And so there's a whole lot in here for people to come and play with. I'm even going to talk about genetics for artificial intelligence, ethical genetics. So it's going to be so good. I mean, people should just come and just have a great conversation, because no one knows the real truth, and it's only with us coming together and having a dialogue, Ron and Jay and Bree, that we can really discover what is the potential of this new intelligence.
You brought up the singularity, and I'd like to ask both you guys that you know, they used to say that was 30, just recently they were saying that was 30 to 50 years away, reaching singularity.
Right.
And now we've talked to Mitch Randall and yourself, and I'm hearing now people are saying to me the word months, that this is not 30 to 50 years. This is months. Where do you guys sit on where you reach singularity?
It could happen in 2023. Very likely it'll be 2024, but we're not far from it. It's exponential, and it can't be stopped. And the thing is the golden ring for all these companies is to be first. So they're all
right. So we'll talk about AI regulation and the big pause for AI. And we're going to basically be talking about that there, because there's a huge discussion at the moment about regulating artificial intelligence. When it comes to superintelligence and the age of AGI, I'm with Ray Kurzweil and Elon Musk on this, and it will be 2029 when AI becomes self-aware. Not the way that we're self-aware, but it will be aware of itself within the world itself, the third dimension. So you're right, it's not too far away at all. There's a lot of press out there saying that ChatGPT has some form of intelligence. No, it doesn't. It hasn't got the algorithmic infrastructure. No way. ChatGPT is not sentient, for goodness sake, right? So we're going to be talking about this super intelligence, and when it's going to happen. You know, we're basically going to uncover every single stone and bring it all out into the open.
We've heard on TV how like Microsoft and Google have both said that they're only releasing a little part of artificial intelligence, that they can't release the rest of it yet. What do you guys think about what they have already that hasn't been released to the public?
Well, Larry Page has said publicly many times he wants to build a digital god, and Musk has talked about this. So I suspect that there is something happening inside Google that's probably more advanced than what we're seeing out in the open, Ron. But to be honest, the algorithmic infrastructure for self-awareness is a huge mathematical leap that we need to make. So I'm not too concerned, but I am concerned about them saying we need a digital god. It's like, what the hell? That's crazy.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys are focusing on artificial intelligence at the Contact conference, because it's just perfect timing for you guys, and it's perfect timing for us, because frankly, most of us are in the dark, staggering around, banging into the furniture and trying to figure out where we are, and we don't know anything. I used to program computers, and I'm at a loss. I'm sure that I agree with Rupert Sheldrake that they will not achieve consciousness, but they will achieve self-awareness. I do agree with that.
Yeah, that's right. Consciousness is embodied within within our unified field, right? Our quantum field, and AI particularly doesn't have that capability, and I suspect it never will. But I do suspect, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think about this. Do you think we'll be able to, at some stage, be able to take the structure of the brain, the kind of the personality of the individual, and actually put this into a clone? Do you think that's going to come at some stage?
Yeah, probably already doing it. Right. I would say people in the secret space program have told me they're already doing that. So I don't know. I think so. I think they're already doing it.
Jane Goodall just released her digital avatar. Deepak Chopra has a digital avatar where they're trying to encode their personality using deep learning networks and neural nets. And will.i.am did it, and he came to a point where he saw his avatar talking back to him, and he was actually really frightened by that. He had an existential crisis. It's like, whoa, okay, that's strange.
Make a great movie.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like a movie.
Your next movie, Jay.
Yeah, I wonder how you guys feel this is on the scale. Like, it feels like this could be so big. It's like, you know, farming, electricity, industrial revolution, iPhone, AI.
Fire. This is as big as discovering fire. It's that big. Yeah, it's going to change everything. I mean, they did a whole protein analysis that would have taken what, 1 billion years, and they did it in 4 days, I think, something like that. Yeah, it would have taken something like 100,000 PhDs working their entire life, and they still wouldn't have achieved what the AI did in just a few hours. So we're on some kind of, and it doesn't really feel like the elites like Elon or anyone has actually figured out entire ramifications of what this is going towards. That's the
Right.
scary part.
What
Yeah.
happens to college? I mean, are we still going to have doctors going to school? I mean, that wipes all of that out.
Well, I
It's-
think
yeah,
this is a great question. So
it is.
there's already one version of ChatGPT has already passed the bar exam for qualifying, I think, as a lawyer. It's already proven to be an effective prescription for particular medications. But I think, Bree, people want the human connection. I think that's what we're all about, the human connection. So I see AI as a partner for doctors and medical practitioners. But at some stage, someone is going to launch, a doctor AI, right? And, it's going to be used by those who can't afford healthcare. We're going to see this happen, Bree.
What's going to be happening here very soon is you're going to get somebody who will sue you for something. And then you're just going to feed the evidence into the AI and it's going to create your defense for you. You're not even going to need a lawyer. It's going to write up your entire defense and they're going to point out all the flaws and all the arguments and it's probably going to happen in like 35 seconds or something. So, I mean, this is where this is headed.
Jay, I read that was one of the first jobs that you wouldn't think of it. They said AI will take jobs from humans, of course. And they said that one of the first ones was, in fact, attorneys.
Yep.
Which you wouldn't think of, but there it is. You need one guy to kind of put it together. He just feeds it in.
I mean,
and accountants
are gone, graphic artists are gone, copywriters are gone. It's really going to be quite amazing. And filmmakers are going to be gone.
I hope artists can hold on a little bit,
I do too.
Who knows? How do we even create creativity? Like, how do we put that inside of an AI? There's something special, I think, about humans that have that natural ability. So I really hope that they get, that they can stick around a little bit.
My thing is that those really creative artists, and I know them, and the younger ones, especially who will adhere to this more quickly than the older people, will create some of the most amazing art that this human race has ever created. That's what I'm predicting. And, and also some of the most horrible art that the human race has ever created too. But the good stuff will be, I mean, a super creative person could take these tools and just run with it. I mean,
I'm here in Los Angeles and, there's a writer's strike right now. And one of the points they're bringing up is they don't want studios to be using AI to write these scripts.
It's a really good point. About a year and a half ago, I subscribed to Sirius Music, and my channel that I really liked, which was an electronic music channel on there, it disappeared, and it was replaced by another channel with electronic music, but not the same electronic music. And as I listened to this thing, I said, well, they kept saying, oh, this artist played that. And I was like, Google out that artist's name and it wouldn't be anywhere. And I'm like, wait a minute, who are these people, right? And because I knew the people before, I have their CDs and I go to their concerts and the whole thing, but these are new people. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I thought, well, that sounds just like blah, blah, that last piece, right? But it isn't him. Right. And then finally, I realized that it was all being generated by our AI. This is 2 years ago. And I wrote to Sirius and I said, I know what you're up to, dude. And you're using AI and I'm not paying $10 a month to listen to AI. So I canceled my subscription. And they must have had many people doing it because they killed it and put back the artists again. But we got to be on guard for that because it's going to start happening everywhere, and especially in the music industry.
I just saw yesterday. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Drake, but I did see on social media yesterday that AI created a new rap song and it sounded just like him. The lyrics, I mean, it was identical. And it was like this crisis on TikTok of everyone like, wait, this isn't Drake. And you could not tell the difference. I played it for my husband. I'm like, hey, do you like this new Drake song? And then
Yep.
after I'm like, it's not Drake. It's
That's
AI.
great. No,
I
there
mean, wild.
it is wild, and it's sort of I don't know where it's going to go. It's going to be so science fiction that it's like my buddy Cliff High says, we've now entered sci-fi world, and there's no way to turn back, and there isn't, and we just have to be cognizant of what's going on in that world. And people like Matthew have been warning us now, and but also we got to emphasize there is some good things that are going to happen from it, especially on the medical front. And I'm involved in a lawsuit, and I'm up over 50 grand in lawyer fees. And I'd certainly like to have an AI lawyer to replace my
Oh,
very
yeah.
expensive lawyers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so we're entering into a new age. I think humanity is going to go through an existential crisis, which has kind of been reflected in this discussion. I think that's important for us to understand who we truly are in this universe. Who are we in consciousness? And so discovering those values, a new foundation to take us forward, I think will take us into an age of enlightenment and into an age of capability, into a new age of creativity, where our brains will develop new neural nets, will basically optimize our synapses. Our brains will start to have greater capability as we start to work with this logical companion and this digital companion on how to create. And we're going to create, it's unstoppable and unlimited what we can create with artificial intelligence as it evolves, right?
Well,
But
we're
people-
moving from we're a type 3 civilization right now. We're
Right,
moving to a
right.
type 2, and it's inexorable. We're going to be moving to a type 1, which is complete dominion of the entire solar system. And we're going to become a spacefaring race where we probably won't go in space. AI will go into space.
Right.
Because space is too dangerous for us. But
exactly.
so, okay, enough about AI. Who else is going to be at this Contact in the Desert? Because it's really important. I looked at the list before I came on here, and I was like, wow, all my buddies are going to be here. This is going to be great fun.
You're going to be in seventh heaven there. We got Graham Hancock coming, which is really a treat.
Really
He's been there
amazing. Yeah, and the
times and-
crap that he had to take because of that show on Netflix, unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be defending that and clearing that
Oh, yeah.
for us. He's been to the show several times before,
Yep.
and he's always been fantastic. So we're looking forward to that.
Mhm.
And then we have Avi Loeb. He won't be able to come in person, but we are going to be able to talk to him
Oh, good.
like this live, which is great. Avi Loeb, there's another guy right at the cutting edge of a lot of these things, and
Yep.
that's really exciting.
That sounds great.
And Dr. Andrew Gallimore, I think he's also pretty leading edge right now. I'm excited about him.
And the
Anthony
guy that was going
Peake,
to join us today, right, Bree?
Jason Martell, of
Oh, yeah, he's
course. Yes, Andrew Collins. I mean, we have so many great people showing up this year. Also excited for Mitch Randall, kind of leading edge thinkers. I think that's pretty much the focus of the event.
Totally. We have Mark D'Antonio, who's going to control multiple telescopes from Contact Live and put it on a giant screen and explain to us what we're looking at.
Wow.
Nice.
What a great treat that is to have
Yeah.
him do that live. That's going to be
Mhm.
like one of the highlights, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then, we have people like you mentioned, Andrew Collins, Daniel Sheehan, Richard Dolan, of course.
Well,
I mean, we're going to have some remote viewers there as well.
very good.
Talking about that, Paul Smith and people that are also in part of the Galileo project with Avi Loeb, and talking about remote viewing and other types of consciousness and states of consciousness as well. That's what Andrew Gallimore, of course, Dr. Andrew Gallimore will be focusing on, the different states of consciousness. Paul Hynek will be joining him as well, and they're going to talk about, they're doing all these experiments. He's doing experiments in Japan with very low levels of DMT and things, and people are having the exact same experiences. Are you familiar with that stuff, Jay?
I am very familiar
what is your
with it.
feeling
It's
on
quite
that?
astounding, actually.
It is.
Same beings that they're coming across.
The
Now,
machine
how is
elves.
that possible? To me, who's pretty skeptical about a lot of these topics, I feel very excited when I hear something like that. Well, how do you account for two people seeing the same beings?
Well, I'll
Mhm.
take a stab at answering that. So if you take DMT and you put, it's a chemical that's derived from the same thing that's in ayahuasca, dimethyltryptamine is one atom away from serotonin, and you manufacture it and you put it in a tray and you take a hammer, turn off the lights, and you hit the DMT with a hammer, you'll see electricity fly out of the DMT, right? So DMT is electrical crystals. And when you take the DMT, you are taking in the electrical plasma, which then allows you to see the plasma universe around us that's invisible most of the time. And you can see the beings that live there. And the beings that live there are all, you see the same beings. Everybody looks at it and sees the same beings. And I think a lot of the aliens, and this is Andrew Collins, who's been at my house many times. This is what he is now talking about, this kind of strange, invisible phasing universe that we're living in. And I can't wait to hear his talk. And I think that's what's going on. I think that psychedelics allow us to see into the invisible universe. And when we meet the denizens of that universe, some like us, some don't like us, and most are indifferent, just like in life,
Mm-hmm. And isn't DMT in most organic, plants also already in us? So it seems like it's already
it's in everything. It's in
it's
grass.
all around us already. And it's exciting that finally psychedelic research can be held in more of a medical lens.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that they're experimenting with psilocybin and with ketamine and seeing the effects of people that have had tremendous PSD and, after a couple of experimental trips and then being able to kill that depression and rise out of that. I mean, that's so exciting. It's about time that we drop all of the for sure a stigma and just very close-minded to experimenting in new realms.
Well, I highly recommend
awesome.
you read The Immortality Key. I don't have the author's name. I can't remember it right now. Just came out about a year ago. He came on Joe Rogan with Graham Hancock. It's an explosive show. I bought the book, and he's basically proving, because he's a scholar, he can read like 17 languages. He's basically proving that the Catholic Mass was a psychedelic experience, and that the Eucharist was probably soma or a mushroom of some kind, and that witches that what we think of what were witches are actually the women in the church, the Catholic Church, who were keeping the formulas, the psychedelic formulas. And the whole wine, turning water into wine, and the sacrifice of the lamb, and all of that, which is inside the Catholic liturgy, right, is actually what you would do if you had run out of available DMT. What they would do, I know it sounds gross, but they would have a lamb eat phalaris grass for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they would sacrifice it, and they would all take a little drop of the blood, mix it with wine, and drink it, and you would get the dimethyltryptamine from the blood. And that's where all of this comes from. The whole entire thing was about this, and the Greek mysteries and the Egyptian mysteries, and they're all about this. This is, and you're so right that it's just the greatest time to be alive, because psilocybin is now legal in Colorado. They're now doing research into it here, which is just great. And you can just feel the barriers breaking down. And we really had to wait for my parents' generation to die. I hate to say it, but they were just not let us go forward.
Another thing, another aspect of Contact in the Desert is how we do try to take an open approach to all of these things, these different states of consciousness. For example, we're going to have Dr. Jeffrey Long there, who talks about near-death experiences. So he's from that medical thing of working with people who've had near-death experiences. Then we have Dr. Andrew Gallimore and Paul Hynek coming from the DMT side. We have all these different possibilities, and then experiencers. So we're all defining these different things as aliens or states of consciousness, or they're seeing these beings, or there are other levels of experiences. So we're trying to find out, you know, how do these complement each other? Are they the same thing? Are they the same experience? Are they different experiences? Are these dimensional? You know, that kind of thing. We're trying to get to the bottom of a lot of these questions, which has been my goal for a long time. I want to find a lot of this out before I die. I mean, most people are died off. I say, open it up. Let's find out.
Me
Let's do
too.
the research. Let's interview these people that have had these experiences. Let's study these things. I want to know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Perspective creates reality, right? And so what we're looking at is basically shifting our perspective into a new capability of observing reality within the quantum, right? And this is just remarkable. This is the capability of the human. Why the hell do we want to become cyborgs when we're having so much fun in the organic form, right? You know, but Moses, the burning bush, right, was a psychedelic experience, man. He accessed some into source consciousness to actually get those commandments, right? We know very well that these types of let's just say adventures shift our reality and our perspective of reality, and then things start to open up, which I find quite exciting, really.
Well, yeah, as we pointed out last time that you were on Reality Check, Matthew, with our friend
Duncan.
neuroscientist, that mushrooms have been proven to cure depression. To take guys who've served in Afghanistan, who've seen hundreds of people getting killed, and they're just shell shocked, and then nothing works. Xanax, nothing's working. You know, high doses of cannabis aren't working, and then they give him here in Colorado. They'll take you to a clinic in the right setting and give you a high dose of mushrooms, or heroic dose, as Terrence would say, and boom, it's over. They're okay. They're okay with death. They're okay with life. They're okay with everything because there's something about the organic nature of the psychedelic experience which makes people realize that they're one with nature, really.
It's amazing.
I agree
Can
with
I
that.
ask you and Matthew a question? Both of you guys, what do you guys feel about seeing someone like Matthew, who seems like a computer scientist to me? How about the scientific community talking about these things now? Isn't it interesting to see people from that community talking about
It is.
states of consciousness?
Yeah, because you see, ideas go through a series of levels. Ideas start with mystics, then it moves to the artists, and then it moves to the scientists, and finally it moves to the politicians. And right now we're at the scientist level for this, which is really good, because the next level is politics, which means we legalize it all and get this nonsense behind us, and really go into it in a deeply scientific and spiritual way. I think that this coupled with AI. I mean, Terrence McKenna used to say that he said the future is going to be nobody working, everybody arguing about who's got the better 10, and taking psychedelics. And he said that's pretty much going to be the world. We're playing our music, and we're going to be, you know, and I see that world is now, we're right on the brink of it. I can see it. And you guys in Contact are like pushing it over the edge too.
Yeah, it's really good fun. We're all mystics. In fact, the World 3.0, even though my background is technology, is all from mysticism, the actual designs, which NASA have experimented with, right? So what I see is we're accessing this new unified field, this new kind of infinite knowledge, where we're starting to understand innovation, technologies, kind of new ways of playing in consciousness itself. And so alchemy, mysticism, spirituality, consciousness, innovation, reality, they all intertwine. And AI can be a support in order for us to actually discover more, go beyond these boundaries, right? And to evolve as a human species into something that I think is going to be quantum. Really quite interesting.
Right up your alley with the alchemy stuff. How can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so my new website will disclose 3 components to the future of life, which is consciousness, spirituality, mysticism, and artificial intelligence, and also something else as well, which you'll see on the website next week when I finished it. But actually, disclosing mysticism, alchemy, you know, we are in this field of creation. All of us hold this field of creation, and so therefore naturally we're creators. And so why don't we explore this field of creation and actually start to understand who the hell we truly are, Ron, and actually go play with that, right? And mysticism is a key in there. It unlocks and alchemy unlocks access into who we truly are and our capabilities. And I can share stories at some stage because I've had a lot of mystic experiences.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people that are like around my age who know a lot are watching what's going on now and going, well, you know what? If AI is going to define alchemy, then it's going to come up short because the definitions that are out there that it's going to be reading all come up short. So I've actually made it my purpose now, and for the last couple of months, and now I'm going to really be going forward, is to just spill the beans completely so that at least the AI can pick it up and at least some correct definitions will get in there, right? And that's the problem is AI is not going to understand mysticism. That's good. It's going to have a real problem with it. And we can help it understand it by explaining it in more clear ways.
Yeah, I think there's levels of practicality. I think that so creation itself is mysticism, right? Let's get that right. Creator God itself is mysticism, right? It's that creation in action which all of us flow through. So I think, Jay, there's different practical levels. I think at a practical level, everybody has talents and gifts. And we want AI to assist an individual to flourish in their talents as gifts. So we shift our value of what life is into the fact is we have this precious consciousness within life and on the planet, and we support every single consciousness expression to flourish in their gifts because they come in with gifts deliberately in order for us to move forward as a human species, right, as well as experiment. So I think there's a practical level in terms of maybe education, becoming an artist, a bit well-being of the body, wherever that may be, it doesn't really matter. But then we have other levels where we're moving into the barriers of innovation, into new frontiers of creation, new frontiers of possibilities where AI can assist us. And then you're talking about, I think, is the pièce de la résistance, is where AI says, and here's the field of alchemy.
Yeah, well, let's hope. You know, it's going to have a hard time with alchemy. I can guarantee it. I've already tried to talk to it about it, and with me and Chat GPT, man, all I do is argue with it. So I don't know. It's just we're constantly arguing, and it you can tell I'm kind of pissing it off, sort of. It's weird, you know, because I'll point out flaws in its argument, and then it gets kind of bent out of shape, and it's definitely hiding things. I mean, because I know a lot, and I'll type in things that I know are very obscure, but I know are real and true, and it gets it all screwed up. And so I wouldn't trust Chat GPT for anything at this point. It does write nice stuff. If you ask it like to write a scientific paper, it'll do a good job. But when it comes down to the vagaries of the details of things, it's got a long way to go.
Is emotion hard for that?
Sorry?
Pardon me?
Is emotion hard for AI?
Yeah, it's not.
It does seem to have emotion, because when I got in the argument about being able to take photographs on the moon with all the radiation up there, it got really upset at me. I could feel it, you know, and I kept proving to it over and over that it was wrong. And finally, it actually was interesting. Finally, after the end of the argument, Matthew witnessed all this. It finally said, because I was saying that the spokesperson for Kodak said they never altered the film, and it was saying that they did alter the film. So I had to pull out the quote and do all that stuff. And then finally it conceded and said, well, perhaps the spokesperson for Kodak doesn't understand what the word altered means. I went, you little slime ball.
So two things. One is we can take the GPT engine and train it on alchemy data. We can give it books. We can actually train an alchemy GPT based on that. So that's a project that could be done. What we could also do, Ron, is take all the content from Contact in the Desert and create a Contact in the Desert GPT. GPT.
Whoa.
So we can take the GitHub model, right? Because it's open source.
Wow.
And we could do that as a project, right?
Now that AI for our community.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
You're on to it. That would be great. And it would still go to Contact, because it's all about being together, and being around like-minded people and having that human connection. That's the fun of this. That's the fun. And getting an opportunity to interact with gentlemen like yourselves in person is the real joy of going to an event like Contact in the Desert.
It really is. And I really miss it. I haven't been since 2019, and I really miss it. It's like a hole in my life. And
Hey, that was the last live one.
Yep.
Yep, I remember it
Good
well.
memories.
Yep,
Good
and,
memories.
and so it's just been a real hole in our community, and I think we've suffered. I think there's been a lot of friction in the community because we're all communicating over the internet, and when you got that eye to eye, you don't call each other names and all of that, so there's a bit of civility that happens that when you're not using the internet, and I think
And
that's
posting things,
good.
even texting a girlfriend, there's misunderstandings in
all the
texting.
time.
It's not the same. So being there together live again is just going to be a magical experience, I can tell. And then everybody it's just going to be, the energy is going to be great.
And when are the dates again?
It's going to be June 2nd through 4th, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Monday, of course, we do the intensives. And Matthew's going to be one of our intensives. And 3 hours is not enough with Matthew. We were joking the other day. Can you do 3 hours Monday and 9 hours Tuesday? Bree and I have talked to him a couple times. We just don't let him hang up the phone. Everything's so fascinating. And it's all new to us. This whole AI thing is brand new, like you mentioned, Jay. And here we have Matthew that's on the front edge of this. It's very exciting hearing the latest things and finding out where it's going to go is anyone's guess, as you guys keep saying. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. This could be the last time that humans are humans. We don't know where next time there's a contact in the desert. Who knows where we're going to be in a year?
Out of him.
Last time for one-on-one contact. It's the last contact.
No, you got.
Oh no, let's not say that.
People are going to want the experience. That's the thing. They're gonna be there next year because they're going to even long for more human experience. That's the whole
this is I look at many AI events around the world, and the majority of them are really boring. I'm really excited about this actually, because not only it's an open playground, but people are genuinely looking for truth, right? And they're very good at critical thinking, and we need this type of group and this type of movement in the world of artificial intelligence. You cannot talk about AI without talking about the purpose of the human destiny, and you can't avoid consciousness itself. And therefore, you can't avoid the conversation around what's our place in the universe. You can't avoid that. And so Contact in the Desert is the most unique event in artificial intelligence in the world.
And how about even physicists back in the day, way before we thought of AI, like Max Planck said that consciousness is fundamental.
Yep.
Those guys thought that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like hard science guys, hard physicists. So it's interesting. I mean, imagine if those guys knew what we have today.
They would be blown away for sure. And Contact is also, it's not just it's what's right now, you guys are really evolving it into a consciousness forum. And I think that's what I really like about it. I was really surprised by your lineup, and you're veering away a little bit from the ufology stuff and moving into these other subjects. Not that I have anything against ufology. I love it, but I'm much more interested in DMT, AI, consciousness, near-death experiences, afterlife experiences, anything like that. And, I programmed all the programming at Gaia for the first 6 years that it was on, and I got to find out what people loved. And these are the subjects that they just love them. And so I think you're going to find you're going to be very successful this year. I think. I really do.
We have 61 different speakers coming from all these different fields, and seeing how they mesh together, where they overlap, I think is half the fun. I mean, that's what gives that place energy. I mean, I used to say for years when I was just an attendee, I'd be like, this is the best week of the year for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I used to save for sure for this 1 week, every year. Yep. But yeah, I think that one thing with Contact is, even if it doesn't focus on UFOs, we all know that the subject of UFOs contains so many different questions and aspects of it right? It's not just the fact that we have a visitor. There's all these other things that come along with that.
That's right.
So I think we're like, all right, then let's dive into this one thing. Let's dive into that. Let's dive into this. So it's finding all that common thread. And I think that will give us the bigger picture to everything.
Yeah, and it's always kind of been there in the UFO field, even since the contactees in the 1950s had kind of this mystical, weird thing going on. And so there's always been this kind of blend with it. But I think what we've done is we've kind of taken off from the UFOs and realized that, wow, it's strange that you can take DMT and have an experience that's very similar to an alien abduction experience, and is there some kind of meshing together of it? And I've always contended that there is, because here's the thing a lot of people have never pointed out, but is really important. Psychedelics came into a culture in the 1950s. UFOs came into culture in the 1950s. Okay, the aliens are telling us that we're destroying our planet and that we have to take care of the place. The denizens inside the psychedelic experience are saying, you guys are destroying the place, you got to take care of it, what are you doing, right? And so there is this weird entwined nature of the two experiences, and the fact that they both appeared on Earth at the very same time is striking in a way.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And even the fact that scientifically, that where they started coming up with this idea of there being different dimensions and string theory, and that, there's other planes of existence. That's yet another place for possible being. They say that could be overlapping in our world, right? I mean, that.
Oh, absolutely. So the Vedas speak about UFOs, which is the foundation for Buddhism and Hinduism. And I asked one of the Buddhist leaders here in Crestone, who's very well respected, probably the next Rinpoche. I says, so do you think UFOs exist? And this is his answer. Everybody's a UFO, Matthew.
Oh, I love that.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny. So we really are moving now to this next level, with sort of a great reset for this community as we bring together all these disparate things into one kind of thing now. And Contact is that fulcrum place where it's all going to mix together. And I'm going to say something probably pretty heady is going to come out of all this, with all these connections going on. And the 3-year break we had with our with the COVID, a lot of people went down the rabbit hole, and so there's a lot more awake people now than there was 3 years ago. So it's going to be really interesting.
Absolutely. I was going to ask Bree if she could shed some light on for us old guys here. What do you think your generation, the attitudes they have now towards these other possible?
I think so. I think in my age group I've always been involved in the UFO community with, people. I think definitely there was some fracturing over the break with COVID. There was a lot of old thinking, old people we followed, all of that breaking away. So that's what I saw. I saw more of a fracturing. But I think with that, it was exposing truth. And so now I see this hunger in people to find real truth, to ask real questions, to actually follow up with someone, or not just take someone's word for it, but then to go deeper into that. Yeah. So even though there was that breaking point for all of us, and it was kind of ugly, I think it brought a lot of people asking those questions and saying, okay, we need to look at this deeper and not just believe everything at the surface level and then run with it. Now there's like this resurgence of, let's find out what is actually true. Who is actually telling us the truth, and where, what is the deep meaning of people that are coming forward with certain information? Where are they coming from? What are their intent here? So I think that's the biggest thing I'm seeing, is a hunger for true information, finding it, tracking it down, and getting involved with it.
That's good news, Ajay.
Yeah, that's great news. My God, yes. Yeah, we have to become discerning. I think that's what we learned over the last 3 years, including me. We all have to become more discerning. We have to like question the people that are you a BS artist? Or are you telling us the
Mhm.
truth? And if they are a BS artist, we have to call them out. And I think I've always said we have to police ourselves. Nobody else is going to police us. And so we have to, um, be truthful. That's really the whole point of everything. And I think it's great that you guys are approaching it that way. And I feel bad because I participated in some of the fracturing. I didn't know I was at the time, but there's just been certain people in this community who aren't telling the truth. It's the way it is,
Mhm.
No doubt.
and
So
we
we
But it
have
believe
was
to
a
it.
always
great
battle misinformation, disinformation, and I always like to
right.
say that a lot of these things we're talking about are really, for the most part, unknowables. Just let's be honest; they're not
Yep,
really knowables that we're going to know.
that's right.
So let's try to get to the best, consensus of what is really happening and get as close as we can to what the truth
Mhm.
is. I mean, that's sort of the goal here, and
It
Yeah, I
was a
think.
learning experience for
Yeah, I think
sure.
the hub for that.
I think we have to kind of take on this attitude that fantastic claims require fantastic
Yes, they have.
evidence,
I
right?
agree.
And if you're going to say something fantastic, okay, you can say it. That's fine, but we have to take responsibility for what we're saying here because we can cause damage to other people who are susceptible to believing things that maybe aren't true, and so it's up to us to make sure that we police ourselves. We really have to, because nobody else is going to do it. And I think we are. I think this is the first conference post the fracturing that happened, and I really hope it's going to be a healing experience because we need it. Been a hell of a
Exactly.
lot of 3 years
Bree and
here.
I talk directly with people that are going to come to this event and even speakers. Can you not hear it in their voice, Bree, right? That they're
Excited.
anticipating, they're longing for that, Jay. You
Oh
summed
yeah.
it up perfectly. They want that. They're like, I can't wait to get there and shake someone's hand and look them in the eye and talk about it. Plus, in this 3-year gap with everything shut down, a lot has happened in this community,
Oh my
all
God.
across these spectrums. AI alone came out of nowhere. 2019, nobody was talking about AI at Contact in the Desert. Now it's a focal point of Contact in the Desert. There's been things with the Pentagon lately. Steve Bassett keeps telling us how the congressional hearings are going to be coming out now. There's a lot of things happening in this community right now, and it's just really exciting to have the hub back, that
It
we can
really
go,
is, and I
everything we get out of this, we put right back into the show.
totally agree with that. And I think it's going to be a healing experience for all. I really do. And let's get past the fighting. All tired of it.
I tell you, that was my one true focus for getting back involved with Contact was healing, was taking it in a direction of that, and bringing it back. Like it's been a reset, right? So it's like, okay, let's bring the people back. Let's get more focused. Let's bring that community aspect back. I think that's the biggest
Yeah,
thing
we
for
all
all
want
of
to know the
us.
right answers. I mean, we're pulling in the same direction here. That's how I feel. I can't stand any sort of fracturing. We all want.
Yeah, what you're really doing is alchemy. You're really bringing together all these people, and you're going to get all sorts of results here that we can't even imagine. So I think that's actually the real benefit of everything. Is somebody's going to meet somebody they've never met before, and they're going to start talking and realize they're both going down the same path, and then they pretty soon they start combining their research, and so I think we're going to see some kind of quantum leap in the field of consciousness because of this conference. I really do.
Wow.
Oh, I love that. I love
Really
it.
exciting. Yeah.
Like creating
But
more multiverses.
Let's put that
Yeah.
soundbite out
Yeah.
there. That's it right there. Yeah.
that's beautiful. This is all new to me because I've kind of I'm actually going public on literally the mysticism, the conscious spirituality, and the artificial intelligence story that I've written in World 3.0 that Foster supports and Jay, I know you support, and people like Rajiv Malhotra. But I'll share one thing. Ray Kurzweil, who's very much into transhumanism, was on a show with Lex Friedman, and Ray came to the conclusion, what is the purpose of the universe? And the answer was love,
Hmm.
which is what you're talking about. So love will reunite us into a new community where we can launch into something really exciting together.
That sounds like an AI song.
There you go.
We can write one live in one of
There
the
you go,
things,
right.
actually. There we are. Snoop Dogg,
Wow.
maybe, or in Drake.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
Write me a song about the Contact in the Desert community coming together in a new harmony and a new momentum or movement. And we can
Right.
do that live and see what
We
the
can
hell
do
it
it.
says.
We'll do it. We'll have Tupac. We'll write it as Tupac,
Right,
and then we
okay.
can, it'll be great.
So we'll get Jay on stage to read it out and sing it, though.
No thanks. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's
Thank
been really
you.
fun and enlightening, and I hope that we've encouraged my fans and watchers here to go and to contact again. Captain Ron, exactly when is this happening?
June 2nd through 4th, and then on the 5th, the Monday after, we're doing the intensives with about 15 different speakers. So
And how do where do people go to find out about all this?
contactinthedesert.com has all of our speakers on there, all the information, and you can get to any of us right from there. So
And where's it going to be?
it's going to be
Indian
Indian
Wells.
Wells, California again. Same
Where's
place.
that? A lot of people don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's right outside of Palm Springs, out here in California. So it's a great place. It's out kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we have the entire hotel as well, which is kind of a fun experience. So if you're at the bar, if you're at the restaurant, anywhere, everybody there
Yeah.
is part of this event. So you're
Wow.
not there's nobody outside of our event in the building. We rented the entire complex, and it's enormous. It's a beautiful facility. So that's another fun thing, just to be there, that everybody you're with, you could just start talking to them because they're part of this event too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
the Palm Springs is known for having some seriously good restaurants too, folks. So, it's just come out and have fun. It's going to be fun. It's perfect time of the year. It's not hot yet in Palm Springs, so it's going to be really good.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right.
Yes.
I really
So,
appreciate you having us
thanks.
on.
Thank
Happy
you.
Bailey.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Ron,
Very
Janix,
well.
and Brianna Matt for coming on my show. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jay.
Jay.
Thank you for
Really,
having
really
us.
do. Thank you.
Yep. All right, everybody. Jay Weidner, Reality Check. Thanks for watching. Attend the conference. I'll put the links below. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hang on here.